In this video, we're gonna see about the UV package manager for Python, and it is built using the Rust, and it is 100 times more efficient than the pip commands. So it provides a single tool for all the operations like pip install, virtual environments. Normally, you will create a separate virtual environment using the VNV, and then you will use it project. But UV provides all of that in just a single tool. Here, if you look at this documentation, and you can clearly see the difference also. From this documentation itself, you can see that UV is at least 100 times more efficient than the pip commands. And if you look at the highlights, also a single tool to replace the pip tools, pipex, poetry, pyenv, twine, virtual environment. Now you don't have to use the separate virtual environment. You will provide the virtual environment automatically when you create a project folder, and it is 100 times more efficient than the pip. And you can see all of the highlights they provided in this documentation. I will provide the link of this documentation in the description. You can check that out. So in this video, we're gonna compare the pip and UV. So I will first tell you how you normally create a project structure using the pip. Then I will show you how you can efficiently improve that using the UV. So let's get started. So first, to install the UV, here if you scroll on, they provide an installation page also. You can see that you can install the UV for Mac OS, Linux, and also for Windows. So just go to this installation page. So if you are using the Windows, just copy this command and you have to type this in the PowerShell. But if you are using the Mac OS and if having the curl, or if you have the wget, you can install the UV using this wget. So I'm using the Windows, so let me go to the Windows and let me copy this, and I'm gonna open up my PowerShell now. So let me open this PowerShell as administrator, and I'm gonna paste the command here. This will install the UV package manager for in this Windows system. You consider it is downloading the UV package manager. Now the UV has been successfully installed. Let me close this. So to check whether the UV has installed or not, just open up your command prompt one more time and just type UV. So if you get any output similar to this, you consider if you get any output similar to this, then the UV has been successfully installed. You consider we have the run command, we have the init command to create a new project, we have the add command to install any libraries, remove version, sync. We will see what is sync later part of the video. We have the free, we have the pick VNV, lots of stuff in just a single tool. Now you don't have to rely on multiple tools. You can use all of that in a single tool. So let me minimize all of this. I'm gonna show you first how you normally create a project structure using the pick command. So let me create a folder now. So I'm gonna open the command prompt in the desktop now. So let me open up the command prompt in the desktop, and I'm gonna create a folder in the desktop like old way. I'm gonna create a folder called a old way. So I'm gonna show you what is the old way of creating the project folder. Make the old way, and I'm gonna jump into that folder. You consider here we have the old way folder. So normally if you want to create the virtual environment, you will type python -m venv.venv. Using this, you will create the virtual environment. This will create the virtual environment in that project folder. You consider here we have the project folder here, and you consider now the virtual environment has been created, and you have to activate that. So cd will go into the .venv, and under the scripts, so let me go to the scripts, and once you come into the scripts, you will have to use the activate command. So there we consider here we have the activate, and just type activate. You consider now the virtual environment has been activated successfully. So this is how you normally activate a command using the pip. You consider the virtual environment is present in the project folder, and if you install any packages here, so pip install flask request and press enter, this will install the library for us. But the problem here is that you will have to manually create the requirements.xy. You consider now the packages has been installed successfully. So let me clear this. So if you want to share this project to someone else, you have to create a requirements.txt file, right? So I'm gonna open this folder in the Visual Studio Code to show you better understanding of what the folder contains. Here you can see in this project folder we have the virtual environment, and I'm gonna create a Python file called the main.py file. So this is main.py, and press enter. You consider now we have the Python file, and if you want to share this project folder to anyone, you have to create a requirements.txt file. Let me show you how to create that one. And so inside this main file, you will type all your codes. So to create the requirements.txt file, you will type tip-face. I'm gonna store all of the results into the requirements.txt file and press enter. This will create a requirement.txt file. And let me go to the Visual Studio now. You consider if you go to the requirement.txt file, you consider we have installed two libraries only, Flask and the request. But all of these are dependencies of the Flask and request. The user have to install all of this. So if you type the pip install any other command, so for example pip install openpyxl, you will have to manually add this openpyxl to the requirements.txt file. You will have to manually add this. So this is the problem of using the pip command. So you will have to manually type open PyExcel. You consider this is the problem, right? So now let me show you the new way. So let me delete this. Let me show you the new way now. So let me close this command prompt and delete this now. So this is the old way of creating the project structure using the pip commands. Let me show you the new way now. So for this again, I'm gonna open the command prompt in the documents now. That is in the desktop. So let me open up the command prompt in the desktop one more time, and this time this is a new way, right? So let me close all of this. So the new way would include you have to use the UV and init, and here you have to provide your project name. So in this case, our project name is new way, and press enter, and you can see the power of using the UV tool in a single moment. And press enter, you consider initializing the project new way at the desktop. Here you can see a new folder has been created. Let me jump into that folder, and I'm gonna open this in the Visual Studio Code. So if you go to the Visual Studio Code now, I have opened the new way project into our Visual Studio Code. You can see this is the power of using the UV. Here you have some sample files here. So let me click on this. I trust the author. So let me zoom it up so that you can see it better. Here it automatically create the git ignore. It automatically ignores some files, that is the V build files, lots of other stuffs. So we don't want to see this. And if you go to the main.py file, you consider it give us a sample code here. And if you go to the py consider here we have the dependencies. Whatever we install, it will automatically come into these dependencies. And we also have the readme.md file. So let me show you how to install a package using the UV. For example, UV add flask and request. So if you type this command now, it will install the package called the flask and the request. Consider now the flask and the request has been installed. If you go to the pyproject.toml, consider here under the dependencies we have the flask and request only. Earlier when we install the flask and request, it will display all the dependencies, right? Now it only shows the flask and request only. And one more thing is that it will automatically create the virtual environment for us. You consider here we have the virtual environment. Let me open up the folder in the command prompt. So if you type any other command like uv add open PyExcel, if you install this now, if you go to the Visual Studio one more time, that is pytoml, you consider, I think this is the old way. Let me close this. And if you go to the Visual Studio, consider here we have the open PyExcel. Isn't this amazing? It will automatically create the virtual environment for us. It will automatically add all the dependencies that we installed. And if you see the UV, see, it will show you. Oh, let me type UV3. I misspelled that. UV3. You consider it shows for Flask, these are the libraries that it needs. This is the dependencies. Or open PyExcel, these are the dependencies. And for request, this is the dependency. If you consider, you see the all the dependencies in a tree structure. So let me close this. And one more cool thing about the UV is that even if you delete the virtual environment, consider here we have the virtual environment, it automatically creates the virtual environment for us. So before that, let me show you how to run the Python file now. So if you open up the command prompt to run the Python file, just type uv run main.py file. You consider hello from new way. It automatically select the virtual environment that is present in the project folder. You consider it just prints here hello from new way. And one more cool thing is that even if you delete this virtual environment, let me delete this virtual environment, you consider it starts deleting the virtual environment for us, right? And when you write the same command above, so that is uv run main.py file, it will create the virtual environment automatically and install all the dependencies. You consider using the virtual environment at the .env hello from UV. Isn't this amazing? Even if you delete the virtual environments, it will automatically reinstall what are the dependencies you need. It will run the file for you. You consider, let me delete this one more time. And you can also use another command to install this uv sync. So this is where the sync comes into the picture. Uv sync, you consider it will install all the dependencies and it will create a virtual environment automatically. So this is the power of using the UV package manager, pip package manager. So I hope you understand the difference between the UV and the pip. And if you want to select the virtual environment in the Visual Studio Code, what you have to do is just head over to the Visual Studio. At the below, you can see an option called the Python. Just adjacent that you have a Python version 3.12.6. You have install another version, it will display that. Just select that, and at that you have an option called is virtual environment. So make sure you select the virtual environment. That is, now if you run the same command in the Visual Studio, you consider here also we got the output hello from new way. So yeah, this is for this video, and I will continue in the next one.